Teddy's Arc server, what up? Do you think Survival Fittest could have been successful if they didn't stop developing it? Is there something they could have done differently to be successful, or would have PUBG and Fortnite killed it anyway? Watching you play made me want to be, but as a console peasant, I've never got a chance. Feels bad, man. They always said they were gonna bring a console and never did. I don't think it would have been successful if they stopped developing it, because it just wasn't. I mean, initially it was kind of a little bit successful. There was a lot of streamers playing and stuff, but they just like ignored it. I mean, ignored it per se as like they didn't bring up new content. They were not optimizing it properly. They were not doing balancer changes. They didn't really listen to us that much in the early days where we needed stuff. But early days, it was just like the first 3 months period, or like first couple of months was just for fun and stuff. Was good. But they mainly focused about Ark Survival instead of Ark Survival Fittest. Ark Survival Fittest was just like a side thing they did. And yeah, they were just not focused on it. Had they been focused on it, I think it was just timeline. I feel like Survival Fittest back then, obviously Battle Royale was, you know, you had Arma 3. I think you had a H1Z1, but it wasn't like the boom of Battle Royale nowadays because of PUBG and Fortnite. So it's such a niche thing, Survival Fittest. You know, Ark Survival Evolved with dinosaurs and stuff, so it's like, it's a niche Battle Royale. It's not like your common FPS and stuff like that. So the people that did play SOTF were the people that were coming from Ark Survival Evolved, no one else. You know, you have to play Ark Survival Evolved to play SOTF, in my opinion. That was like the main market that you had. So you had a small market of people, and even still, some Ark Survival Evolved people didn't even try SOTF or didn't even bother. But if you do that nowadays, like for example the timeline, if they never did SOTF back then with the Ark Survival Evolved, which is still pretty popular, and it still has like 60,000 concurrent or 80,000 something like that. It's still a pretty popular survival game. If they brought out Survival Fittest now after the PUBG boom and Fortnite, I think it all comes down to timing as well. Like I feel like if they did it like a little bit after PUBG, like when Fortnite came out, that was like the perfect time for Survival Fittest to come out. When Fortnite came out, like just before them, I feel like that would have been really good for SOTF. You would have had like a lot of people from Ark Survival Evolved like more interested because they saw how PUBG blew up, and it was probably a lot of fun for some of them. I think it would have been a lot better, but I think it still comes down to the niche of it. It wouldn't have been that successful. For me, I would have loved it. I feel like Survival Fittest for me has been my favorite Battle Royale. I think just the whole aspect of it that I really love. That you start with nothing, but you can craft stuff. You can make bases, you can raid bases, you can early fight, you can mid fight with like some gears, you can tame dinosaurs and fight with dinosaurs. I think like everything about the game was just extremely fun. Whilst other BRs has a bit more downtime in certain areas. So for sure, Survival Fittest is always going to be my favorite Battle Royale, but I don't think it would have been as successful as it is. It could have been more if it released now, but it's a niche. I would love it too. I mean, who knows? I might be wrong here, but I just think it's just so small, because they would have to, for SOTF to be like even bigger, they would have to like tone it down and make it way more easier and casual, and maybe remove aspects of the game that, like, you know, maybe remove like crafting or certain things in the game that just makes it super easy just because it's easier for casuals. That's one of the things about Ark or Survival Fittest in general, was it was really hard for new players to get in. They would get destroyed. In PUBG and Fortnite, you can drop in, you can kill pretty much anyone after a few hours of gaming. And Ark, it was like really hard. Like the skill level from the start to high, like to learn, like the curve, right, to learn the game was really tough at the very beginning if you didn't know the game. So they would have to make it more casual, and if you make it more casual, it's not the fun as it used to be. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. Peach Coaster with what is your favorite fruit? I actually like a lot of fruits, to be honest. I'm actually a fruit guy. I really love all my fruit, but I think it would have to be probably the mango. Mango is probably my favorite fruit. Yeah, mango. I like the mango. It's pretty juicy. Yo, Chintz, what do you think of the state PUBG is in right now? I think that's already the same questions already answered before, right? Yeah, already answered that earlier, so that's the same. Niall Robert Fry, Base Boomer. Or do you think it would be better if all players in PUBG landed with a pistol in 15 rounds to start with? No. That makes no sense. Pistols random anyways. I mean, not random anyways, but just doesn't make sense. I think it's fine as it is right now. I don't think it would change too much. I mean, it would change like when you jump for vehicles now. Like if two guys jump for one vehicle and you both have pistols, that increase, like that's even more RNG. People are not even gonna like fighting for cars is gonna be really scary. So yeah, I don't know. I just say I don't think it will be better. I think it's not really needed. I don't think it's an issue right now, anyways. How many hours would an average player with no BR experience need to play before becoming competitive? How many hours would an average player with no BR experience? No BR experience. An average player with no BR experience. How can you be average with no BR experience? I guess you mean no competitive experience. An average player like playing PUBG would need more. How many hours you would need to become competitive? I guess I would phrase it that way. How many hours would you need to become competitive? I mean, it depends the quality of hours you put. Like you can put 1,000 hours, but the 1,000 hours is stretched along all year, and you're just having fun with friends. You're obviously not going to be competitive ready. But if you put 1,000 hours in like tryharding, in playing tournaments, like even if it's like amateur, like any random tournaments with your friends and stuff, it's, you know, higher quality of hours than others. So it all depends how many hours you put. Like I would say at least minimum 500 hours just to be there, like putting your own individual hours and competing and stuff. Like I mean tryharding, like you try hard 500 hours and then stop playing tournaments. So around that right now. Maybe they will be a little bit higher, but I think 500 hours is a good mark, to be honest, to start being competitive ready. Do you see PUBG having a bright or dark future? I definitely see it having a bright future, but I can also see this dark future. It all comes down to PUBG Corp if they step up after PUBG PGI, at least in the competitive sense I'm talking about. I love the devs, even though I give them a lot of flack and other people do. I still believe in them. I still believe in the team, so I think we'll be having a bright future for sure. I don't know when that future will be, but yeah. Favorite childhood game is Call of Duty 1 for sure. As I mentioned earlier, it's my first FPS game, and I just love that. At least Call of Duty 1, like rifle only specifically, that's my favorite childhood game. It would have to be that. I mean, childhood game, you might be, I mean, you might be asking like even further back than that, but I mean, I was a child back then when I was playing Call of Duty 1. I was like 12, 13 years old, so yeah. What is the meaning of life, Steph? I don't know. That's the question everyone wants to know, right? For me personally, I think it's just like love, and just love, I guess, is the meaning of life. To love others and to be loved, I guess, is the meaning of life. Mr. Marvin, if you heard about the TSM qualifying for PGI drama about the two teams that drop into TSM to eliminate for that, yeah, I saw that. I heard about it, read about it. Didn't see any clips about it though. Only like I didn't watch the games, but yeah. My thoughts on it is it did happen. So two teams went to, it was the last game. I think TSM were looting Watertown all the time, and the last game apparently, I don't know if it was two teams specifically. I think it was this is just what I heard about it. I heard it was 3 teams. One specific team were like doing pretty well or almost to qualify, asked other teams to hot drop TSM, and these 2 teams hot dropped them. This is what I heard. I might be wrong in this case, but if this was the case, I mean, even if it wasn't, it was 2 teams that jumped on TSM. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the issues with qualifying games in general, that you have in PUBG when you are like not the last game, you are like last place or near the last place, and you have no chance of qualifying. You're literally just playing for no reason. Let's think of, like, let's say it honest, you're playing for no reason. There's no incentive to you to do anything in the last game. Even if you win the last game, yeah, it might be like fun, but like you don't get anything out of it. So what a lot of teams, not a lot of teams, like a lot of teams have integrity and like respect and sportsmanship, but a few teams have been in the past like hot dropping other teams or attacking other teams specifically because maybe they don't like them, or they've been like told to by other teams that they like to want to qualify. So in this case, 2 teams did hot drop DSM, which is in my opinion really bullshit. But at the same time, if you're TSM, you gotta know that at that point, you know, like we've had this kind of situation in the past. It's a little bit similar, and it just comes down to, yeah, it sucks, but at the end of the day, it's their own fault too. But like I said, PUBG, each team have their own place they loot, right, in the map, and there's not enough loot spots for everyone per se. I mean, there is a lot, like you can spread everyone out, but for example, if you loot Watertown, right, you have North George, South George, Rozhok, Severny to your north, Pochinki to your south. You have a few towns you can loot around you, right? But let's say you're dropping Watertown and you're parachuting there, or you're like dropping down there and you see other teams dropping to Watertown. At that point, it's really hard for you to like just abandon and loot around you, because almost if every loot location around you is taken, then you're fucked that game. And even if you find a spot, you're already doomed, because you're not playing on where you normally play, and you might be a little late because you had to take cars there and stuff like that. Like if you get hot dropped and you don't plan for it when you land, like that specific game, then you're doomed, right? So TSM landed Watertown, 2 other teams came there, they had to like abandon, so they started running, they lost a few players. I don't know exact details, but they were already doomed by that point. But that comes down to, you gotta expect it on the last game of qualifiers nowadays. You just have to. You can't like expect sportsmanship in that sense. So people are gonna be out to get you, whether it's a team that's maybe 6th or 7th place and you're 5th, or it's a team that's maybe 1st and they don't want you to qualify, or the team that's 16th and they don't want you to qualify, right? You gotta expect that in qualifiers, and you have to have a plan B pretty much, or plan B and C. So in that sense, TSM, you know, coming into the last game, I think they were close to qualifying, or they were almost there. They should just think like, we're in Watertown, we've been in Watertown for 4 games or 3 games in a row. You know, there's a chance that teams might attack us. There's in the last qualifier. So you have to adjust. And at that point, you have to see what was free in the previous games, and you have to adjust and go there. In my opinion, that's what they should have done. If those 2 teams were obviously hot dropping, I feel like they should be like disqualified and stuff like that. But at the same time, like, it can happen, and it's so hard to kind of prove unless you have real proof. You know what I mean? So it's TSM's learning lesson. We've had that situation as well, and you learn from it, and it's just something that's going to happen and won't be changed, even though I think it's shitty. I also understand certain parts of it, right? Like, I understand, like, let's say we're 1st place. There's like 3 cases of it, right, of hot dropping. I'm going to explain hot dropping, I guess, a bit more. There's a case of hot dropping a team because if you eliminate this team early, you have a chance of qualify or winning something, right? So for example, let's say 1st place qualify, only 1st place qualify to a tournament, right? And the 16 teams, you're 2nd place right now. You are a lot of points behind 1st place. Like, the difference between you and 1st is like a win plus they need to die early, right? Let's say you need to kill the number 1 team and win the game to qualify, to come 1st place. So 1st place, they're super far away. You're 2nd place. You need to hot drop them. Like, you need to fight them early so they die. You can't really drop on your area and hope they die early and then win your game. Plus you need to win as well. Like, your only chance of qualifying is going against this 1st place team, attacking them, killing them, hoping them to wipe them, and then coming 1st place, right? Like, then that hot drop is fine. That's a normal hot drop. That's justifiable and stuff like that. Then you have another hot drop where another case of hot drop where it's, let's say you are 1st place now, right? And the 2nd place team, like vice versa, like pretty much vice versa of that. Like, your 1st place and 2nd place team can catch up to you, but they need to like place 1st, or they need to win. So you can like hot drop them per se and screw up their game, like make them lose players so they have really low chance of winning, and then you just end up winning yourself and qualifying. That's another one hot drop, which is also justified because you're doing it strategically so other teams don't qualify. Then you have one that's maybe looks a little bit unsportsmanship, but it's like a tactical one as well. Is, for example, let's say 5 teams qualify in a tournament, right? 5 teams qualify out of 16 teams in this specific round. You are 1st place going into the last game. Let's say it's game 6. You're on last place, last round, and you're 1st place, and you're guaranteed qualifying already. You are guaranteed. No matter if you come last place in that game, if you come 16th, and no matter what placements other teams get, you're guaranteed to go through the next round. And there's a team that's 5th, 6th, or 7th, or 8th place, like in between right now. that are really good. Let's say, for example, in this case, it's FaZe. Let's say Liquid are first place, FaZe are around 5th, 6th, and 7th, and the last game determines if they qualify. Then that's justified for us to actually hot drop FaZe. Why wouldn't we, right? Like, I saw this in a video from a mental coach actually recently, Ramdan. I can't remember his name, I'm sorry, but he says it, like, he mentions this, and I agree completely. Like, why wouldn't we attack FaZe in the last round if they are quote-unquote the best team in the world? If we attack them and fail, like, cause them to wipe early game or cause them to lose players, this reduces their chances of qualifying, making it us easier for the next round. Like, why would I want FaZe to qualify on the next round? But it's something that is like in the current scene that people have like a little bit of respect. The same comes down to like when teams drop Yasnaya, teams drop Miltapower, teams give such each other like certain respect to avoid each other. But this one specifically, people don't tend to do because it's kind of like unsportsmanship, right? It would be unsportsmanship in a sense of if we just attack them to fuck them up, because we don't want them specifically to qualify. That's one of the crazy things about PUBG, because they have 16 teams facing against each other. It's not like 1 versus 1. So you have these scenarios that can happen. And in a way, if you look at it from one way, it's like a really tactical, it's a really smart thing to do. But in this other way, it's like, it can be seen as shitty, right? It can be seen as sportsmanship. You're just like ruining their chances. But at the same time, I'm in the game to compete. I'm in the game to win the game. You know, I want to win the tournament. If I can eliminate the best team, why the fuck wouldn't I, right? So that's another terms of hot dropping. Like, I can do that based on those standings and the results that could happen from it. That's another hot dropping, which is I think is that that's justified as fine in the grand scheme of things. I personally would do it in a sense as well, like if that ever came up, but it just hasn't come up. Like even though that the issue is, like, if you think about it, the issue with that is that can backfire in the future. That's why probably teams don't do it, because that can backfire in the future and vice versa. But I think that's actually fun as long as people take it in a competitive sense. For example, I love the FaZe guys. I'm really good friends with the guys, but as long as it's respected from both sides, I think it's fine. Like, as in, I don't want, like, the thing is, people want to avoid drama, which I'm case too. But I think this type of drama would be fun for the PUBG scene. Like, if we attack FaZe and then, like I said, it can backfire in terms of like the next qualifier, the next tournaments, the roles reversed. FaZe can drop us and they fuck up our game, and in that moment I will be like feeling shitty, and I hate FaZe. But you know, like, I feel like that specific atmosphere could be fun in that way. It just hasn't, I haven't seen it happen. Maybe it has happened and I haven't seen it, but I think that's obviously justified. That makes completely sense in the competitive side. Then you have hot dropping of, you know, I already mentioned, like, for standings. Then there's hot dropping of, like, your last place, your 16th place, right? Coming into the 6th round, you have 0 chance of qualifying, and you decide to attack the team that's around 5th, 6th place because you maybe don't like them, you don't like the players and stuff like that. This has happened in the past, and you just decide to troll in the last game. Maybe not even dislike anyone. You just decide to troll the last game and just randomly hot drop somewhere. I think that's like a little bit, I feel like that's a little bit more unsportsmanship like than all the others. I feel like you can also say, for a case, like, other teams should prepare for hot drops in the last round, but like, I wouldn't specifically, when I don't have no incentive of winning the game anymore, like no point of winning the game, I would just play like generic and just like let everyone do their own thing. Obviously I would try to win, I would just try hard, but I wouldn't go out of my way just to fuck up a specific team, even though it won't benefit me at all. You know what I mean? Like, why would I want that? Like hot drop, you know, for example, in this case, I'm 16th place. I would hot drop FaZe when they're 5th or 6th because I don't like those guys and I don't want them to qualify, which you get a lot in PUBG, unfortunately. And always, it's a shit show in the last round on qualifiers of PUBG because of this reason. Last teams are like, ah, fuck it, you know, and they have no incentive. But that comes down to the root of the core of the PUBG itself. Like, there should be an incentive of playing each round. That's one of the issues with a lot of rounds in PUBG. Like, I feel like I said earlier, you need a lot of rounds for that to determine the best teams or the highest skill of teams. But at the same time, the more rounds you add, these less skilled teams drop down way so much that it causes these issues way more. Because if you have less games, like let's say you had 3 games, this team that's 16th place can still have a chance of winning the last game and qualifying, so they wouldn't troll. You wouldn't see this much hot dropping and trolling going on if it was less games. But the more games you add, the more they drop down, and the more chances of, you know, the last game or the last 2 games they have no chances of qualifying, that these unsportsmanship kind of thing happens. And it is what it is. But yeah, that's my hot dropping. I think that's all of them taken into account and my thoughts on it. So kind of mixed feelings with it. I think most of them are justified, and there's nothing you can do though. Let's hope to PUBG or will be destroyed by Battlefield 5 and COD BR when they come out. Like I said earlier in one of the questions, there's definitely hope for PUBG. One of the things I love about PUBG is just the general gameplay and the whole thing of it. Even though it's not gonna have that good graphics, I don't care about that though. The optimization and the you know, the tick rate and stuff like that, that's going to be the main issue, right? Obviously Battlefield and COD are going to have more optimized gameplay. The tick rate's going to be good compared to PUBG as it's its own thing, you know. That's the main issue. But if PUBG can improve on this, even though we haven't seen much, I mean a little bit, but if they improve on it, I don't think Battlefield and COD would have much chance in my eyes, because I prefer the gameplay. I just don't like the graphics. I don't like the gameplay of Battlefield COD. Even if the optimization is really good, PUBG will still attract me more. So for me, there's still hope. Dave with, do you miss playing poker in the future? Would you ever consider getting back into it, maybe streaming poker? I definitely do. Like, I don't know, I'll give a backtrack for some people. I used to play poker when I was 18, 19 years old. I started playing poker online full time, and it was actually, you know, I used to do it professionally. Then I did it for like a few years, and then I completely stopped. And I started playing again like a few years back, but I haven't like really touched it again. So yeah, I mean, I do miss playing it. I really love poker. I love the theory aspect behind it. I just have fun playing poker. It's a really fun thing for me, but I enjoy more gaming still. Like, I enjoy playing, for example, PUBG more. I enjoyed playing Ark more, COD, you know, like still enjoy that more. I see poker more as like separated out of it, like more as like a hobby kind of thing, not like just like full-time like profession kind of thing of it, you know. Like sometimes I would play on the casino at my hometown. I would just play casino there, and I play a tournament and stuff. Like, I enjoyed that. There was actually a few months ago that I used to go like sometimes weekly on the Friday nights. I would play poker. So I still enjoy it. I still sometimes play. It's not like I've completely given up. I completely given up on like online poker. I just don't touch it. I don't enjoy it in online poker anymore. I like playing more live. So considering getting back to it, you know, I still casually play here and there. Streaming it, like, I love like educating. I love coaching and stuff like that. So streaming poker would be kind of entertaining to teach people, but I think poker is more of a one-to-one thing that I like doing more than just like one to a group. Because when you do that, like when you teach or like stream something like educational to other people when I'm streaming poker, because I like being that way, it's hard to do it to a group because every person is on a different stage. So it's hard to break it down for each viewer, and they might not get it. Some might get it, some might not. You know what I mean? Like, I like doing it one-to-one, so I know what point they are in. Like, are they super basic, or in them, you know, intermediate, or like super high level? And, you know, I like breaking it down. So for me, streaming it is not that fun because of that reason. And also because you need to add a delay. If you don't add a delay, people can just stream sniping and poker, and you're just like burning money. So yeah. I think this is the last question. If you had your own organization and wanted to put together your own PUBG team, which 4 players would you pick? You can pick any players EU and A, but not on any of your current teammates. Try to think of the team aspect and give a reason why you would pick each one. I mean, that's like the easiest question you can ever ask. If I can't pick my teammates, I'm obviously going to pick FaZe. I mean, they're the best team in the world. And I don't think I would change. Like, it's not like I would say, yeah, FaZe, and then I remove this guy to add another guy. I think FaZe are the best team in the world for a reason. I think they all are individually fucking good, and they're just like, as a team, really good. They all bring like different skill sets into that team. That's just insane. Like, if I had my own org, I would just try to pick up FaZe. But I guess that's like an obvious answer. So let's just say without FaZe and without Liquid, because that's super obvious. Why the hell would you not pick FaZe as the most dominant? I would have to say, if I have to pick 4 individually, EU and NA, I would have to go with Zampa from NA. I think Zampa is mechanically really good individually. I think he's been impressing me a lot since I've seen him. I think he would be one of them as like a main fragger. Then you would have I mean, as of late, 4 individuals. Wookie Bookie, probably, as a sniper slash fragger, is being really solid as well. Need an in-grain leader. This is a really hard question. There's so many good players though. But those two. The thing is, I'm like thinking about FaZe and our team all the time, right? But there's so many good teams out there as well. FaZe. So Wookie Bookie, Zampa. What could form a good team? This is so hard. This is a really tough question. Holy shit. Just thinking. Thing is, I haven't played with a lot of people, so it's hard to say. I'm just going off like what I've seen like on performance and streams and stuff, because playing with people changes your mind as well, like how good they are, you know what I mean? And I haven't played with that many, so I could maybe making choices that maybe they don't mesh well and the team doesn't become that good, you know? Because it's the thing about PUBG, it's all about like synergy and like teamwork more than individual skill per se. But let's say they had all this communication like on perfect and synergy, then yeah, I would say Zampa, Wookie. I think Unoctive from Mavanga is pretty crazy. And one of the guys from Drain is whoever the in-game leader from Anabi would be. I think that would be a team I would set up. I think Unoctive, Wookie, Zampa, and whoever the in-game leader for Navi is, whether it's Drain is, Picha Minota, Pokemolody. It would have to be that, I think. That would be like my team that would, if I could pick like random players outside of FaZe and Liquid, it would be them, I think. They're pretty nutty. Pretty nutty. So yeah, that I guess concludes my AMA. I think I missed 1 or 2 here. Here they go. These last 2, which is one of them is actually my brother, who wins in a fight, me and UY. I don't think about that because I know I would never fight you, so it's like I couldn't think about it, you know, like you just don't picture it because I would never fight my own brother. But I would say me. And Stefan, what is the game you enjoyed playing the most competitive? Otherwise, the Call of Duty 1, like I said earlier. Call of Duty 1 for sure has been my favorite game, even probably competitive wise. I mean, Call of Duty 1 and Ark Survival Fittest. Competitively, Ark Survival Fittest was just so fucking good. Yeah, I think Ark Survival Fittest I enjoyed more competitive, even though Call of Duty 1 is my favorite all-time game. Yeah. So that's it. That concludes my AMA. Thank you guys for watching. I know it's really damn long. But yeah, it was actually fun doing this. Fun question, good questions in there. So I appreciate it, guys. I hope you all have a good one. And peace out. Thanks for watching.